Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you are about to see here. For tuning in. First and foremost, I wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you checking in on my videos and following my budget journey. And today's video is going to cover the month of June, so I'm going to do a little bit of forecasting basically, and then at the end of the month I will go back and I will do a recap to see how close I was to the income that I anticipated coming in, and also just to kind of do another check on myself, a double check to make sure that I did everything that I had planned to do for the month. So this is my budget journal here. This is a happy planner with a tulle notebook cover, and I really like it. It's cheerful, it inspires me, and I think that that is, really half the battle when you are working with things that are as cumbersome sometimes as numbers and finances. I think you need to make it as pleasant as possible, and that's why I try to make things look nice for myself and just have them be serve as a little bit of motivation, I guess, during the process. So I am going to, let me see. All right, opening here to the first page, I did find one of my trackers that I rewrote, and this was the second, was this the second credit card that we paid off, or the first? I feel like this was this was the first one that we paid off. So it started at $14,400, and you can see, we had colored in and everything. But the second one that I did, I don't know, it's not in here, but I'm glad I held on to this because I can rewrite out the second one too. We had two major credit card balances to pay off. Here is how I did my January recap. Here's how I did my February forecast. And then I stopped using a big happy planner notebook, as you can see, and I just kind of moved back into the classic, and now I am back again with my big happy planner and I am loving it. So here is my tracker for my work paydays, and that includes my full-time permanent job and then Grubhub. I want to also do, when I rewrite this on a full-size sheet of Big Happy Planner notebook paper, I want to also include Instacart. And if you are interested in what's going on with me and my side income and how lucrative it is, how profitable, and if it's worth it, I just uploaded a video giving some really in-depth explanation to Grubhub, especially kind of how it works, what you can expect, as many details as I could offer. And if you are curious about anything like that, click on that video because I have some other offerings, informational tidbits about the other services too. So we haven't reached June 4th yet, but that will be my next Grubhub pay, and June 5th is going to be my first pay of June. So starting on the 19th, I am going to be receiving a reduced income paycheck from my permanent full-time job, and it's because I'm getting furloughed. So actually that is going into effect now, but the first time it's going to rear its ugly head is going to be on June 19th. So that is going to be a day of reckoning and figuring. Thus, the side hustles. So I think that's really important. So what I need to do here is I need to go through, I have already paid all of my June bills, and I paid them on June 1st. And the way I did that was by using my income from May. So if you have been following along on my budgeting journey, you'll see that when I got paid with my paychecks from May, I was putting aside enough for the bills first, and then anything over extra was going toward variable expenses and miscellaneous and things like that. So that's how I'm going to be doing it from now on, as long as I can. And I started this when we received our stimulus checks. I used those checks to get us ahead and to be able to pay May's bills, and then I was able to use May for June, and that's how I'll go on and so forth. So this is my bill tracker. I have 3 pages of different bills that I'm responsible for making sure that they are paid and up to date. And then here was my May monthly income, and I'm going to pull this out because I'm going to use this as a little bit of a resource when I'm talking about June. So what I like about this is that you can see this is the last paycheck that I had coming in for May, and then how I divided it all. And I do this in separate videos as well. So this was my Grubhub pay. It came in on the 28th of May. Here's where I was going with my sinking funds. I put down, you know, a zero-based paycheck is what my goal was. So I have sinking funds here, I have cash envelopes here, and then I have what I needed and what I had accumulated for June's bills. So this is just the perfect layout for me right now. And I don't anticipate on switching this up or finding a need to switch it up anytime soon. I really, really enjoy it. And I think that it's going to work well for me. So flashing back to May, and I'm probably going to refer to this, this is how I kind of forecasted the month. I have some goals up top, and then every Monday I have sinking funds that I could have gone through and given an update just for myself. I know that I do separate videos on these, but I also like to have, you know, have it on paper so I can refer to it. And then over here I have some of my pay dates marked. You can see May 21st was my first Grubhub paycheck and how much it was, May 28th, and then of course my normal paycheck. So when I do these videos, I always do them, you know, with real numbers, because this is something that I use as a resource myself. And so I need it to be, you know, pretty accurate so I can refer to it. And I don't want it to be, you know, muddied numbers or anything like that, because like I said, I refer to this. So let me go back, and like I said, I think I'm going to copy what I did for May just so it starts to look uniform, because I want to use this particular system for a long time to come. And hopefully at some point we can get back on track with our jobs and things like that in this house. I have recently learned that the furlough that I'm receiving may be extended and increased as of this fall. So you know, I'm not thrilled about how I'm gonna make this work, but you know, we'll see. So I'm going to list work paycheck number 1 on the 5th, and I'll put down what I anticipate. And that's what I love about doing this, because I can write down anticipated numbers, and then I can go in when I do my my recap, and I can actually tweak that and say what it truly was and whatnot. So I think it's 15/16. Usually I get paid 15/14 on one pay and 15/16 on the other, but we'll see. I always forget which is which. So work paycheck number 2. Now this is my anticipation, and I could be wrong, but it's going to be around $1,300. So if you figure that's my new normal, that's like, you know, it's going to be between $350 and $400 per month. It has a lot to do with our insurance and how much we pay toward our insurance and how much more we're going to have to pay toward our health insurance, and also our furlough amount. So what I'm going to be taking home is, in my opinion, a lot less than what it should be. So on the 4th, I'm going to write down Grubhub paycheck number 3. And I wanted to also let you know that I'm going to be introducing some Instacart paychecks in this. And, you know, I'm starting to wonder myself, and just so I can explain this, I'm keeping track of Grubhub paychecks in kind of real time. So even though I put paycheck number 1 for my real job, that doesn't mean that's my first paycheck of the year. It just means it's my first paycheck of the month. But Grubhub, I'm keeping track of exactly how many paychecks I pull in. I'm going to need to go back, and I'm going to need to figure out how much money that I'm taking out to be covered for taxes. That is something that does not come out of what Grubhub pays you. So I have to be mindful of tracking that. So this is going to be Grubhub number 4. So as I was saying, I signed up for Instacart. And it's interesting. I don't have that much experience with it because I only have so many hours in the day. The only reason I even thought that I would pursue this a little bit more is because I am getting furloughed, so I'm not going to be working every single day of the week. And I'll have more time, plus I have my weekends and my evenings. So as long as I am healthy, God willing, and everything is fine. I'm going to take advantage of this time to make as much money as possible. I have some doctor's tests and visits coming up that are going to be quite pricey, and I need the extra money. So I'm trying to do everything that I can in advance to plan for these things, so I'm not trying to play catch up because I didn't address it when I knew about it. Does that make sense? Like, I need to really take everything by the reins as much as possible, so I can get by, and so this doesn't put us into severe financial crisis when, you know, at year's end, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I also talked about, in fact, I'm gonna flip this. All right, I also talked about my sinking funds and, you know, the cash that I have at home in my envelopes and things like that. I am going to go to the bank and I'm going to ask for larger bills. I don't like having so many loose bills around. Not that, I mean, it's perfectly safe, but I just want to have the larger bills in there. It'll make my envelopes last longer and not split down the seams, hopefully, which is a good problem to have, to be honest. But yeah, it's just something that I want to do. So I'm going to go to the bank and I am going to swap out those bills. And so I'll have new bills to put in my envelopes. It'll be the same amounts. Nothing has changed with that, but, you know, still. All right, so I'm going to keep Mondays as my sinking fund check-in days. And I don't have one for June 1st, but I will certainly be updating you guys. I'm going to populate my sinking funds as soon as I get my Grubhub pay tomorrow. So Grubhub, good Lord. Grubhub pays every single Thursday and Instacart pays every Monday. And their little caveat is they pay every Monday, but it could take up to 1 to 3 days to hit your account. Grubhub hits your account same day, which is nice. There's good and bad things about both of them, you know, pros and cons. I don't want to say good and bad, but pros and cons. And there's something to be said for each one. And what I like about it is it seems like on the down times for Grubhub, like let's say late morning, early afternoon, kind of that lull period, that's when Instacart picks up. So on the weekends, I'm considering just doing both and trying to create a pattern out of it and see what that looks like, and then I'll be able to know which is the most lucrative time to do each. So I'm going to keep my sinking funds basic, and that's kind of the way I like it. So I'm going to keep them at Christmas Club was what I was calling it, dogs, and savings, and emergency funds. And the emergency fund, you know, I'm kind of concerned about it because I was trying to figure out if I wanted to have 6 months worth of salary. Now, somebody did mention in the comments, and it was a really, really good point. If you, like Dave Ramsey's advice is to save 6 months worth of expenses in some cases. For me, I'm more concerned with saving 6 months of salary, but to be honest, it's kind of a wash. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that my paychecks pretty much just cover what we owe, including, you know, all of our bills, our mortgage and things like that, and a little bit of food and stuff like that. So, it's kind of the same thing for me. 6 months of salary, 6 months of expenses. So if I did that, like at my old rate, if I did 1514 plus 1516, I'm looking at 3030 per month. That's take home times 6 is $18,180. When I see that, it's almost like shocking to me, because at this point in my life, with everything that's happening and kind of the setbacks that we've been experiencing, I cannot imagine how long it's going to take me to get to that number. But that is a number that I'm striving for, and I'm going to do a separate video on that, show you guys where I am with my emergency funds, if I'm going to move any of my savings into that, just to kind of expedite the process. I'm just really, really concerned with this emergency savings. I think if we had that, and we could, you know, kind of draw on that should we need to. I don't know, I would just feel a lot more secure. So it's really important to me, and that is one of my bigger goals. So I do have some goals, and I'm going to rewrite all the sinking funds on all these dates, but some of my goals are to, okay, this is for June, so are to add to emergency funds. And I'm going to, you know, try and figure out what that looks like in that separate video as far as how much I'm going to be able to do for this month. My second goal is charity. So even though we are at this kind of unpredictable, crazy situation with our employment, I'm realizing that we do have more money coming in than we would have, and I just need to concentrate on giving back. So I'm going to pick a category, and I think I already have one in my head, but I'll talk about that when the time comes to do that. And I want to start, you know, a small donation. It's not going to be anything earth-shattering, but it's something that I need to focus on. So adding to emergency funds, incorporating charity, and I also need to, it's not a goal, but I need to start putting in my Target and Walmart runs again, because we're like running out of stuff. We had so many toiletries and soaps and everything, you know, and now it's kind of like we've gone through stuff. Like I had all this old stuff, like old shampoos and everything like that. And during quarantine, we just started using it up, and I feel super good about it. But now I need to replenish some things. So I need to start adding in my Target and Walmart runs. So emergency funds, charity, and my third goal was, you know what? I wish I would have written that down, because I'm going to have to come back to that now. But, oh, no. Earn $2,500 this month on Grubhub. But I'm just going to call it side income, because if it's a combination of Grubhub and Instacart, that's fine by me. So I want to increase our earnings by this amount, and I'm going to make it official and highlight that amount because that is what I need to have in sight. And goals are something that keep me going, and it keeps my eye on the prize, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of why I call this channel Oh My Goals. You know, it's kind of like OMG, but still like, instead of, you know, your regular OMG, it's kind of like, oh, my goals. And I had a lot of them when I started this channel, including paying off massive debt, getting ourselves in a better situation financially. But who knew when I started all this that we would take so many twists and turns along the way? And I think that that is something that is the beauty of doing a budget, is that, you know, I don't know. I think that when you do something like this, even if you're wrong about how much money you're gonna have come in this month or whatever, at least you're tracking and thinking about it. And if you didn't meet your expectations, it's time to change up your behaviors, possibly, so you can meet them next time. And I think that that is the beauty of doing a budget. So I'm gonna put anticipated amounts for this paycheck with Grubhub. I'm anticipating $1,000. So actual, I'm going to track that too. So anticipated, I'm going to do the same thing for every single one, and I'm going to anticipate 700. And actual, and I hope I exceed my expectations. I really do, because the more we can get ahead, because I do have these doctors and hospital bills coming up, and we have veterinarian bill coming up. I'm going to put 700 a week after that. The more I can get ahead, the more sound everything should be as it works out, because I'm nervous. I really am. This is not, I don't know, it's just not something that I anticipated. I guess none of us did. We can't always be on top of our circumstances. We can only just do the best we can with them. So I am anticipated income, I'm going to put down here in this last square. And I hope, like I said, that I exceed this. So let's add this all up. So 1,000 plus my first paycheck for work, 700, 700, 1,300, 700, and 59.16. So hopefully, guys, I can either meet that or exceed that. So that is my June forecast. That's how I am budgeting myself for June. I'm going to come back and I will do an update and tell you what I'm doing as far as putting money aside for July's bills, since June's bills are already taken care of. Most of this income is going to go toward paying my July bills and those other miscellaneous expenses that I was referring to. And yeah, we'll get there though. And I'm really, really excited about this. I think this is really going to keep me on task. And if you have any helpful suggestions or feedback or any experience that you've had with your own side income that you think would be helpful for me or anybody else in the comments who's reading, please leave that down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you did so. And if you enjoyed this video or got anything out of it and could give it a thumbs up, that would really help my channel. And hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. Good luck to everyone. I hope everybody is well and doing great. And I hope I see you guys soon. Take care.